Hi, everybody. So I guess it's been a long day, so I'm not going to take a lot of time, but I want to present to you a toolkit which you can potentially use at the hackathon today to kind of make your life easier, to develop really fast, because it can get quite hard when you want to work on your front end, work on your back end. How are they going to integrate? You have a limited amount of time. So today I'm going to be presenting ScaffoldETH2. And kind of what you can do with it. It's going to be a live demo, so I hope everything works out. If everything doesn't work out, will be around, so I will be happy to help you out. I know Hunter is here too. So let's directly get to it. It's going to be a short introduction, and then we're going to directly get to it live. And for my introduction, my name is Eda, and it's my first time in Seoul. I'm loving it. So I'm part of BuidlGuidl, which is a developer community. BuidlGuidl, I just say BuidlGuidl because it's easier to say. So I'm going to tell you a bit about BuidlGuidl as well, and hopefully you will join us together and we will work together on projects. Okay. And a short outline, we're going to quickly go around with ScaffoldETH2, just explaining what the tech stack looks like. And then I'm going to show you Speedrun Ethereum. And then we're going to talk about BuidlGuidl. Again, it's going to be a live demo, so I'm going to be trying speedrunning all the things I do. So first of all, what is ScaffoldETH version 2? Now, ScaffoldETH, you can scan the QR code to directly go to the link as well. So ScaffoldETH is a toolkit for you to build decentralized applications on Ethereum. It has a tech stack which uses different components that I'm going to talk about. But basically what it allows you to do, it gives you a front end and a back end smart contract, and you can directly edit your smart contract and then go and see it on your front end as well. So you don't need to do all the redeploying. It will directly be available for you to test. I mean, you do need to do the redeploying, but it gives you an interface to directly test your smart contract. So we're going to do a demo of this. So it's going to hopefully be more clear. But just to give you a background on the tech stack we use, is it gives you two flavors. So you can choose hard hat or Foundry. You're not bound to one. You basically have the option. We use WAGMI, VM, Next.js. So it's a Next.js toolkit. We use TypeScript. And then it's integrated with RainbowKit, and we use Daisy UI, so for some built-in Tailwind CSS components, which make life very easy for those who don't like to build front ends like myself. Okay, and Speedrun Ethereum. So we will, after I present ScaffoldETH version 2, you might want to go to Speedrun Ethereum, which I highly recommend you to do so. It basically gives you a set of challenges with ScaffoldETH2. So what it gives you is, it gives you different challenges, including building an NFT application, decentralized staking app, token vendor, dice game. So you build all these, and it provides you the set of instructions to go through very easily. And after kind of completing, I think until after challenge 3, then you can join BuidlGuidl as well. And there's actually almost 9,000 people which completed Speedrun Ethereum, which is quite an impressive number. And basically you kind of sign in with your wallet, so it's a very native Web3 crypto experience. And then once you're okay, this is really cool, I kind of want to get to it, what do I do next? Then that's where BuidlGuidl comes in. So we are basically a group of developers working in the Ethereum ecosystem, building different tools and products, one of them which is ScaffoldETH version 2. And we kind of build these products. We're a developer organization, and we give bounties, small bounties for developers to continue to build different tools. So you can see, for example, people can kind of have their statuses. They can say, I'm building this application. I build a token vendor. I build a soul-bound token example, etc. So you can kind of have all these, and you can have your profile, and then you can earn some money while you're learning as well. We have different educational content, we do some video series, those kind of stuff, which I will try and show as well. And now for the demo, which I think is going to be the most exciting one. And since it's going to be a live demo, I hope it works out. I have it downloaded in case it doesn't, but I'm going to try and do it all live right now together. Okay, so the first thing that we do is we go to ScaffoldETH.io. So you can just write ScaffoldETH version 2 on your browser, Google it, or if you scan the code, you can go there. But the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to just get to this. Okay, opening my terminal. I have a Soul folder, and then I directly create it with NPX. So it kind of makes my life easier. I'm going to name this up. Let's call it live demo. And then you can choose. You can choose hard hat or foundry. I'm going to choose hard hat, but you can completely choose whichever one you want. And then I'm going to say yes, install all the packages because I want it to directly come out of the package with everything. And then once this is going to load, it's going to give me 2 packages. So we're going to have your Next.js and then your hard hat package. Or if you chose Foundry, you will have your Foundry. We have a doc side. So while this is loading, let me show you the doc side. Docs. So the doc side has almost everything you need as well. It shows you like it has a quick start. So you can directly go here. It tells you what you need to have downloaded before you begin. It gives you the setup. Like you can use git clone, but I would suggest to directly use the npx option, just like we did here. And then it gives you the option to choose. It shows you how to set up your environment. One thing which I did not mention, but we will get to, is you can deploy your contracts to different networks. So I'll be deploying to localhost, but you can say, you know, I want to deploy to Base, I want to deploy to Optimism. You directly have all those options built in. And the docs are pretty good to show you kind of how that works. And then you can launch your Next.js application, and it kind of gives you like all the components interacting with your smart contract, etc. Okay, so we have our application loaded. Let's go into, what did we call it? Oops. Live demo. So I'm going to directly open this in my editor. Okay. Let's kind of pull this here. So let's look at what this has. So I'm going to make this bigger. My packages. Oh, let's kind of zoom in. Okay, this is better, I hope. So this is what we just downloaded. It is called Live Demo because I named my app Live Demo. And then what we're going to look at is you also have the README, which presents you all the instructions, kind of what we have in this application over here. And then it also gives you the requirements. So one thing which we kind of wrapped through was you basically need Node, Yarn, and Git to have this all working. It actually initializes you a Git repository, so it gives you like the flexibility to do that. And then it gives you like all the setup over here. And what we have, which is important and which we're going to look through, is the packages. So you have 2 different packages. We have the Hard Hat and the Next.js. Hard Hat is our smart contract development environment, and we actually have like a sample smart contract here. So it gives you like the deployment script, the tests, and then a sample smart contract, which we will be editing. And then the second folder, which we're going to look at, is the Next.js folder. So this is like a sample Next.js app, and it has all the like binaries which you need for your smart contract. So when we make like changes for your smart contract, the Next.js app will automatically detect that the changes were made, and then it will display it on your front end. Okay, we're actually going really good. So I have 32 minutes. So I think it will work out for us. Okay, so before like actually editing, let's go ahead and look at what this looks like, because I talked a lot, but I feel like I haven't shown you what it actually is. Oops, because I didn't start my application. So once I kind of load this, I need to start a few things. I need to do like a yarn start. I need to do both a yarn start to start my Next.js application. I need to do a yarn chain to start my hard hat local environment. And then I need to do a yarn deploy to actually deploy my smart contracts. So let's do a yarn start. And then I open a new terminal window over here. So I basically now have 2 terminal windows. I'm going to do like a yarn chain over here. So this is going to start my local hard hat environment. If I did not do this, it would give me an error. Actually, I can show what error it gives as well. So it will basically tell me that I don't have an environment when I try to connect. You see, I don't have a yarn chain started. So let's start this. This is all on my local host. So no real money included right now. And one thing which we kind of walked through really fast is now what this has is it has like a burner wallet. So you don't need to have like MetaMask or any wallet connected to your application. Burner wallets are basically stored in your browser. So every time you open a new browser, it will generate you a new wallet. It also has a local faucet. So you don't need to like think about, okay, like where do I get those funds? Like how is it going to work, etc. You will just create like grab funds from faucet over there on the right side, and then it will give you, it actually has like a built-in block explorer as well. So it kind of gives you, okay, like this is your app, just focus on editing your smart contract or your front end. And So what happens is I will go to deploy smart contracts, but we did not deploy our smart contract. So I mentioned that we need 3 terminals, right? So we right now have 2. We have the yarn starts running. We have the yarn chain running over here. So I'm going to open a new one. Oops, wrong. I'm going to open a new one over here. So now 3 terminals, and I'm going to do a yarn deploy. So yarn deploy will deploy my smart contract, which is the sample I think it's your contract.sol. So I do like a yarn deploy, and then hopefully it will deploy my smart contract. Okay, awesome. So it gave me a greeting, initial greeting, building unstoppable apps. Okay, this is a fun one. So this is now my smart contract, which is deployed. Let's actually look at the smart contract. Okay, I'm going to make this bigger. This is the wrong one. This was workshop. This was my backup plan. Where is our application? Okay, perfect. I am going to go to contracts, your contract.sol. Okay, so this is our initial smart contract. This is just a very basic smart contract, which has some like variables stored, and then it has like a few functions. Now what it has over here, it's called your contract, and it's under your contract.sol. You can find it under either your hard hat folder or your foundry folder. It's going to be the same. Hard hat, contracts, your contract.sol. And then it has like an address. There's an owner of this contract. There's like a greeting, which is set to building unstoppable apps. There's a premium. There's a total counter. So basically when we do like a change, the counter will increase. It kind of showcases you like a sample smart contract. And let's interact. So what shall we do? Let's change our greeting. Right now, it's building unstoppable apps. Let's call it building unstoppable apps at ETH Seoul. Okay, I'm going to do this. Okay, but it did not work because I don't have any money in my wallet. So you can see it's 0 ETH, so I need to pay for this transaction. So I'm going to just grab funds from the faucet. It's all on localhost, so it will give me like 1 ETH. So now I have 1 ETH on hard hat. Again, it's not real money. So now I can basically make the transaction. Okay, so the greeting changed. We made the transaction. You can see on my, you will see on our hard hat chain that all the call has been displayed. And now it's called building unstoppable apps at ETH Seoul. And then the total counter has increased because we changed our value. And then let's call it something else. Let's make new greeting. Not very creative. Okay, and then so basically I'm now interacting with my smart contract. I'm calling the function called setGreeting in my smart contract without actually having to edit the smart contract. I'm just changing this from the front end. So let's go back over here. You see this is the function called setGreeting. It displays a console log, which you can just erase. It sets the greeting to the new greeting, which we pass inside over here. It increases the counter. We have a total counter value. And then it basically records who is the sender, and then it kind of sends that message, greeting has been changed. Now there's also this premium flag, which I can show. Basically this is a payable function, and in Solidity, payable function means that you can send money to the function as well. So what this means is that when we're actually doing this, we can say, okay, let me send 1 ETH or 0.1 ETH into the contract. And then if someone actually sends money, the premium flag will turn true. So I can just show that before we actually start editing our smart contract. And then let's say ETH Seoul again. And then let's say 0.1, and this is we're going to convert to Wei. So I do this, it automatically converts, and then I send. And what I'm expecting to do is I'm expecting that the premium flag will become true, because as you can see over here, if there's a message.value, if there's some money passed into the contract, it is going to be coming here. So it's going to come to the first if statement, and the premium flag is going to be set to true. Let's try this. Yes, okay, it worked, because sometimes live demos don't work. But basically now you can see we actually sent money to this contract, and then it changed our premium flag. So this is kind of an overview, and all the transactions we can actually see on the Block Explorer over here. So this is a built-in Block Explorer. You don't need to do anything. This is available to you just as you start the application. So, just like Etherscan or Optimism has their own scanner, you kind of go there to see your transactions. This is basically your local host. So I can see, okay, like what are the functions which have been called, who called them, and all that information is available to you over here. I kind of want to show that because I mentioned, you don't need MetaMask and you have different wallets which come up for you. Let's open like an incognito window, and it will actually give me like oops, not LinkedIn. It will actually give me like a new wallet. So this is like purple person with 1B ending. This is, let's say, this is like a green person with a 67. So the wallets are on your browser, so you don't need to do anything. Like, as you can see, I don't have MetaMask. I don't need anything. I'm not connecting. I don't need to do that to actually test my function and to run my application. So it's directly coming to you out of the box. And we're doing really good on time. So now you have this and you're building like something for the hackathon. What do you do, right? Like, that's the main question we have. So I'm going to go. I actually have like a small kit of what I actually wanted to build you. And I'm going to share this here so that anyone can actually follow. Oh, I have it here. So we're going to like build some mini tool. I have this ETH Seoul workshop, which I prepared before for this hackathon. And again, it gives you the step. It gives you how to start your chain and update your contract. So let's do that. Okay, so I'm going to go to my smart contract. This is my smart contract, and I want to add a new function. So what we have over here is we have an owner. When you come over here to okay, let's open localhost. Let's actually make this bigger. I come to my contracts. There is an owner, right? Like this 2267. So when this app is deployed, someone is set to the owner. And let's grab funds. But I have no way to change this owner. So let's say I want to change this owner, and you can actually use like directly built in like smart contracts from OpenZeppelin to like update your owner, but we're going to write something ourselves. So I come over here to my code and I want to write a change owner. And even before that, so you are kind of thinking, what shall I do? You can directly go to Solidity by example to kind of see what is available too. So it gives you like all the things which you can do, like it gives you different variables. It gives you more advanced stuff as well. Like we talked about the payable function. So what does payable functions do? How you can write a payable function. You can get like code snippets directly from soliditybyexample.org. It's kind of very easy to use. There are other tools too, but I think this is like really simple and easy. So I usually go there. And okay, so I came here, I figured out what I want to do. What I want to do is basically have a function what changes the owner, because currently there is one owner and I cannot change it. So that's kind of a sad thing. And I'm going to go here to my smart contract and I'm going to write a new function. Okay, I am not changing anything else. I just want to write a function. I want to call it update owner. And what it's going to do is it's going to input like a new owner, which you can, change. The owner will now become the new owner. So I say function. Update owner. Okay, so actually my Copilot is doing the work for me. So if you have GitHub Copilot, which I definitely think you should, it kind of gives you the code already. So we can directly take this. It's giving me an error, and I actually know why this error is, but basically update owner will take a new owner. We're going to remove this for now. It's going to be a public function, and then the owner is going to be set the new owner, which is what we pass into this function as a parameter. Now, why this owner is giving me an error is it tells me, so the owner is currently immutatable. So the owner is set and you cannot change it. So I'm basically going to make it mutatable. So that's what the error was. Now, basically, we can have an owner, but we can also change it. And this is not a good function because anyone can change the owner now. So like if you are not the owner of this contract, you can just go in and change it as well. But let's kind of see what it is, and then we'll add like the key so that not everyone can change it. Once I make changes to my contract, I do need to redeploy. So I come over here, I do another yarn deploy. Every time you make changes to your contract, make sure to do yarn deploy. And I'm actually going to do a reset to make sure that nothing is saved. Okay, so basically now we should have like a new function called update owner. When we go to our app, this is the problem of too many windows. Okay, so it's here. Another function in our right, so there's the read box and then there's the write box. You basically have like a function called update owner. So anyone can come in and change the owner. And let's see if this actually works, because We don't know if it works yet. So I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to add it here. And then let's do a send. Okay, as you can see, the owner now changed. So the owner is now this address. Let's make like Vitalik the owner. Okay, you can directly write ENS. So we're going to make Vitalik the owner of this smart contract on our local host. So he will actually not be able to see it, but let's do it. And as you can see, Vitalik is now the owner of our smart contract. You can come, you can change it. What we did was we only added like a new function to our smart contract, and then it directly reflected to our front end. So I don't need to go on, like it just makes my life easier as a developer developing at a hackathon when you have 48 hours to build something, or 36, depending on when you get started. Okay, so we did this. This is great, but this is not very safe because everyone can come in and change the owner, right? Like if someone else opens this application, they can change it. Well, they do need to be connected to my local host. But I want to make it so that the current owner can only change it. So in Solidity, we have something called modifiers. These are basically like conditions you can add to a function. So it will check if it's correct. It's basically like an if statement. It's called like a modifier. So you can add like a modifier. And if that modifier is true, it will only go into the function. And we actually have a modifier. It's called isOwner. You see, yes, where this isOwner defined. So there's this modifier called isOwner already defined here, which basically checks, like require means like only if the person making the transaction is the owner can do it. Otherwise, display like a word, like a string called not the owner. So I directly copy this as owner. And actually my GitHub pilot knew that I needed that, so it gave it to me before, but we wanted to see that we can do it this way. So I just added that isOwner modifier into our function. You can add multiple modifiers, by the way. You can say like isOwner is Eda.eth, for example, which is actually not my ENS. But you can kind of do like different modifiers, multiple modifiers for your functions to make sure that they all pass the check. Okay, so I basically added this new isOwner modifier over here. So now what it's going to do is only if the person making the transaction is the owner of this smart contract, they can do the transaction. But we actually don't know who the owner is, right? The owner is set by the hard hat local account who deploys this function. And you can do that. You can go to kind of see and change this. You go to your deploy scripts. So I have my deploy script over here. So you can see it gets like a, the script is basically run when you deploy, like when you run yarn deploy. And then what it does, it gets like one of your hard hat local accounts, and then it sets like the args, which is the arguments which take like the arguments which are passed in over here to the constructor is set on that deployment script. So it's kind of taking like a hard hat account and then it's passing that over here. And all the documentation also gives you this, by the way. So if I'm going really fast, like I will, the documentation kind of goes through that as well. But let's kind of make this account. Like let's open on my Brave browser. Let's open a local host here. And let's just make this 92 account the owner, right? So like now, did we redeploy? We didn't redeploy, but like let's redeploy first to see now that because only the owner can make the change, not everyone can do it. Okay, so let's see. Let's make this account. The owner is currently like with 66. I'm going to say I want to make this account the owner. Let's see if this works. Oh, wait. Okay. The contract function update owner reverted because not the owner. So as we added the modifier, now it's not going to like allow everyone to update who the owner is. And let's make it so that this, let's make our, okay, this is the Brave browser. I'm going to copy this address. I'm going to make only the Brave browser the person who can actually update the owner. So I come over here. I add it here. Do I need to add like quotes? I'm not sure. Let's try it. So now this is basically going to be passed. I might need to add quotes, but we can try. So this is going to be passed as our argument to our yourcontract.sol into our constructor as an owner. Let's see. If it doesn't work, it will just give us an error. Okay, it didn't work. So I think I needed to add it as quotes. Yes, let's see. Okay, so yes. Now basically we were able to set the Brave browser as the owner. let's see. Okay, as you can see, the account with 92 is the owner. So only they can actually change it. So let's make it again Vitalik.
S.
Okay, again, this ENS matching is a cool feature because you can just write the ENS and it will automatically resolve to the address. So I do a send. It didn't work because I have no funds. I grabbed some funds from my faucet. Now I have 1 ETH on hard hat. Now let's close this because they are kind of annoying. And then I do a send. Okay, as you can see, now Vitalik is the owner. But let's say like there's like this other Google Chrome account, which is like I want to change the owner. So I go over here to debug contracts. Let's see if they can change it. Let's make it my ENS and .tweets.eth. But this is again the account who is not the owner. So now only Vitalik can actually change the owner. Yes, it fails because they are not the owner. So this is kind of how, like what we did over here is we added like a new function to our smart contract. We made some changes. The way we tested was in our front end, in our Next.js, which automatically reflected the changes. So it kind of made our lives easier. And this is done from the debug contracts tab. We didn't really make anything. We have our own burner wallets, which we're able to kind of make our lives easier because we don't need to constantly connect to MetaMask, right? Like if you're doing this with MetaMask or like another wallet, you always need to connect to that wallet. So that kind of doesn't get you the best developer experience. And what else shall we do? Since we have a bit more time, we can actually go ahead and edit our smart contract. And I'll try to do that in like 8-9 minutes, which is actually really hard for me because I'm not a front-end guru. But let's try. So I'm going to go into now. I'm going to go to my Next.js folder. So what I'm going to do is not components, sorry. I'm going to go to my app and I'm going to go to my page.tsx. It's written in TypeScript. So this is the welcome page. This is the page we have over here. So the welcome page is basically on your page.tsx. And what shall we do? Let's delete all this. Let's actually delete all of this, right? I think I have like some missing divs. Okay. Okay, so I deleted all of this. Let's go ahead and see that it's deleted. Yes. So what I'm going to do is we added like this new function, right, to our smart contract. So let's display let's make some small front end, which allows you to actually run that function on your a bit nicer looking front end. So ScaffoldETh basically has some hooks, which makes your life easy to build like nicer looking UI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first let's display the account address over here. So this is WAGMI's use account, and let's go to WAGMI docs to kind of see it. You can basically go to WAGMI, which is basically your React hooks. I already know what use account is, but it's super easy to use. You can use like how to get information from your smart contract, for example, from your account. So it basically allows us to get the account, like use account, and then you basically use, you can understand which account is connected to your application with this hook. So I'm going to directly use that. Let's kind of display, okay, we call this already connected address. So I'm going to directly say connected address. So if there's a connected address, this is basically going to display, but it's not going to be very pretty. Okay, so this is basically my connected address. As you can see, it doesn't show me the ENS, right? Like we had in the previous debug contracts tab, we had this ENS avatar, which is pretty cute and we want to have on our homepage as well. So what ScaffoldETh gives you is it actually gives you some components, it has an address component. And let's go to the ScaffoldETh2 docs. I go to the docs. I go to components. You actually have the address component. So this address component allows us to actually have that mini ENS resolver as well if we have an ENS tied. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to go back to my app. I'm going to say, I want to use the address component, and I'm going to call it address equals and connected address. Why is this giving me an error? Did we not import that? Let's directly get this from here. Okay, so this should now give me a nicer UI with the small. Okay, as you can see, now we have the mini ENS resolver over there as well. So if this actually is an ENS, it has like Vitalik.eth, it will actually display as Vitalik.eth. So it kind of makes our life easier, but this again is not a pretty UI. I don't think it's very, I find it really difficult to build front-end applications. So I find it very convenient to directly use the hooks in ScaffoldETh. And again, you can come over here, you can see like the different components available to you. We tried to make the documentation a bit more user-friendly, but if you have any questions or anything, you can always let us know. So what we're going to do is let's actually make like a small card component. Let's call this connected address, right? So I want to see which address this is. This is my connected address. And then, okay, I'm going to cheat a bit and look at what I had before to make sure we do the steps and I'm not missing anything. We did this. We edited our smart contract, deployed it. We added like a user component. Okay, add a card. So I mentioned we use Daisy UI. Daisy UI basically gives you some components built with Tailwind CSS, so it makes it kind of easier to build. Like it just gives you like out of the box tools which you can use for your front end. And let's kind of show how that works. That's a mouthful, I said. Daisy UI. I can go directly to Daisy UI. It's a library for Tailwind CSS, and this is what we use. And I want to build a card. So I'm going to directly go over here. I'm going to get a card. There's this, let's directly get this shoes one. Are these different? I directly get here. I'm just going to copy this. I'm going to move here. I'm going to paste this. By the way, my code editor automatically formats my code when I save. So that's why it's automatically formatting. I really find that really helpful. So would suggest to have that setting on. Okay, so I mean, we could have this too, but this is just going to display the Nike shoe. So let's look at how it looks now. So now I go, okay, shoes, which we obviously want to change. But this is kind of the component which we have here. So I'm going to edit this component, and I'm going to try to do that in a few minutes. Okay, so I'm deleting this. We're going to do update own, or like, let's call it yay, or, okay, yay ETH Seoul. And let's call it a bit more professional. Building in ETH Seoul. Okay, and if a dog chews shoes, whose shoe? Okay, this is not good. So now we have this, and then we're going to change this to update now.
Yes.
I just made some quick changes. It's actually not going to change anything. It just displayed a card. So building in ETH Seoul, and then you have this update now, but nothing works right now. It's just like what we did was we went to Daisy UI, we took a card, we added it to our application. We have only 1 minute passed, so that's good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to like have a small div. Sorry. Oops. Divs. Okay, let's say this. And then we're going to say I'm going to do what we did before, which is the connected address. And thank you for making my life easier. GitHub Copilot, so it will automatically display our connected address. And then let's actually also display the owner address, right? Like since we want to change the owner in this function, we'll actually show how that works. So I come over here, you can see connected address is this one. And then let's show the owner address. Now, the owner address is specified on the smart contract. So what we need to do is we need to have some method to actually read from our smart contract, which we don't have right now, but which we will add. So the owner address is going to be like another address. Let's call this like 0x0 for now, just to kind of see out. Oops, this is not working. Okay, this is give me an error, which is fine. Let's just have this. Okay, so it's basically going to give us, okay, 2 components, but this is not the owner address right now. We directly added the connected address. What I want to do is I want to read from our smart contract to directly get who the owner is. What I mean by read is, as you can see, the owner is over here. So there's like an address public owner in our smart contract, and I directly want to get this. So what I can do is I will basically have to use, I can use WagMe to do that, or I can use the components we have in ScaffoldETh to do that. And let's go and look at that. I'm going to go to ScaffoldETh, docs, not here. Okay, since I have 5 minutes, I'm going to try and make it a bit fast. So you have basically interacting with your smart contract. So we have used scaffold contract read. So this basically gives us like the hook to directly read from my smart contract without making a lot. And let's go over here. So let's say cost. And then it's trying to suggest something, which is not what I need right now. But let's say, okay, use, I think it's scaffold contract read. Okay, it's going to give me, let's directly ask this. And then we need the function. Why is this giving an error? And then function name, I think. And then the function is going to be, what is our function? Owner? Is it owner? Okay, I think this should work. Right? And then it's going to pass some data, which is going to be the owner. So basically what we're trying to do is here, we're trying to read who the owner is, and we're going to pass it over here. And then I think this is actually address. Okay, it's actually data. Awesome. And then what we want to do is we want to also have this button to basically update when we have a new owner. Is this going to work? I'm not sure. Okay. So as you can see, we were directly able to get our owner from our smart contract, read it from there, and it's displaying its ENS directly. So what I did was only pull in, use scaffold contract read. GitHub Copilot did most of it for me. So thank you for that. And then it basically gives us like our owner, you passing your contract. If it had some arguments passed in, you were able to do it like this, args, and then kind of pass them in here. But it didn't, so we didn't need to do that. Oops. And basically you can kind of see all the instructions over here. So you don't need to memorize all this. As you can see, this is actually an example with args. So it does that. But now because I have 3.5 minutes left, I am going to actually kind of copy my previous code over here. So basically what we want to do is when we basically want to like now have a function to update the owner directly in the application, right? I think we can actually like build this in a few minutes. So I want to have, oops, that's not it. So now I'm going to kind of call read. Over here, we are only doing reading. So we are only getting value from my smart contract. We're not making any changes. I'm going to first of all add like an input component. Let's copy this first. Let's like add a new owner component over here. New owner, new address. This is going to be address input. So we're going to allow the user to add an input. And I think it takes some value. So let's see, value equals, is this value? I think I'm doing something wrong here. Quick fix. Okay. Okay, this is not it. Am I doing it wrong? Let's see what I have to do. It should be address input. Let's check our docs. Can we search here? Okay, I am not trusting myself, so I'm just going to copy paste from here. On change, okay, we can do that. Address, we're going to do this owner. Value is the owner. And then we're going to do like a new owner. We're going to add this. Oops, not like this. And the placeholder is this. Why is this giving us? We actually don't need this.
Is that it?
Do we not have address input imported? We actually do. So let's try.
Really?
Okay, so it actually displayed to me the address input. It's giving me some errors, but we'll solve that a bit later. So basically on change, it's going to change it to a new owner. And basically what we want to do is we want to use like a use contract rights. So basically we want to kind of change our smart contract directly from this user application. And for that, I actually have my function over here. So we're going to call use contract rights, which takes in a contract name. Previously, we took on the function owner, which basically just pulled in like a value for my contract. And then now we want to have it, actually change it. So I'm going to copy this from here due to very limited time constraints. I do like a use. This is probably going to be imported. It's missing an import. We do this new address. I didn't add. I think GitHub Copilot will actually tell me to add that. Okay, no. So basically I needed to add like const new address and set a new address over here. I probably need to input React. Oops. Okay, so basically what I did was I basically now have like a new address and set new address state function in React. So I added this. I added the use contract right because this is what is going to allow me to actually edit my, call the right function on my smart contract. It's calling your contract, it's calling update owner, and it passes in the new address. So what we need to do is now we need to add, awesome. So my time is up, but I kind of just want to leave with a last note over here. So what we basically need to do is we need to add like that small function, an on-click function, which allows us to change the owner directly on our front end. And I'm really sorry I can get to it, but I'll be here around afterwards, so feel free to come and I will finish this code. You can directly run yarn deploy and select the network you want to deploy to. So now we're doing it all on localhost, but you can directly deploy to base, directly mainnet, optimism, etc. And then one thing to remember from this talk is to go to speedrunethereum.com. So if you remember one thing, you can go to speedrunethereum.com and find all the information you need. I will be here afterwards, so feel free to come and ask. And yes, happy hacking. That is all from me.